You are getting ready to listen to the voice of Dr. Rhadi Ferguson, 2004 Olympian, four-time national judo champion, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, author, speaker, and coach.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Rhadi. Got my coffee on right now that I'm getting together. I want to provide something to parents so they can share this with their children. Cause it didn't happen to me, okay? It didn't happen to me because, what's going on, Dr. Ingram? Dr. Daniel, how are you, sir? It didn't happen to me, but I just saw it happen to a lot of parents this morning. I had to go to Little Rhadi's school because they have this, this Halloween parade thing around the school. And when you're trying to make it there for your children, you have to make a lot of adjustments in the morning, in the evening. You got to adjust the homework schedule a little bit. You got to go out, get the costumes. I had to get Rufus off early in the morning so he can get to school. So everybody in the house was up earlier. Had to take my shower a little bit earlier. And then my day starts later because at the end of the day, you're making a sacrifice for your children, but we actually call it an investment, making an investment in your kids. Let me get this coffee. So you have these parents who are out there. I can tell you what I did. I had to drop Rhadi off to school, then drop Rufus off to school, and then I came back to Rhadi's school. The parking was horrendous. And because the parking was horrendous, man, I had to walk almost half a mile to get to the school and then get in there. And all you need to do, you have to sit around in that space so that your children can lock eyes with you and see that you care. And then once you do that, you can leave. Children, please stop doing this. You have parents who are sitting in spaces in line waiting for their children to walk by. And then when the kid walks by, they cover up their face when the parent is trying to take a picture. It has to be the most ridiculous thing ever. The parents trying to take a picture and the kids covering up their face. They don't realize that mommy or daddy has taken off of work, either because you got to take an hour off or half a day. A lot of people are hourly workers. They get paid by the hour. The people who don't get paid by the hour, they're on flex time. If they give up that 8 to 10 or 8 to 11 space, they got to put that on the back end. So they either had to work the night before or they're going to have to work over the weekend or work later on in the day. And they're sitting there in a spot with a bunch of other parents, and you walk by and you cover up your face. I see kids do this when the parents show up for the chorus or the parents show up for the band night. Man, these parents are taking their time, and you're covering up your face when your parents are trying to take a picture so they can share it with the rest of the family. I'm trying to keep this 100% clean because there are some parents who need to give this message to their children. When your parents are coming to your games or your events or your outings or the things that you're doing, they're there because they care about you. Don't cover up your face when your parents are trying to take a picture. Please. I had to pull up one of the kids when the parent was so upset. I'm a coach, so I don't get involved in all this. Don't touch my kid, all that foolishness. Y'all can keep that. The kid was walking by, I grabbed the kid by the arm, and I pulled him out of the line. I said, "Hey, your mom would like to take a picture with you. She's taking off work to take a picture." I said, "Go back and take a picture with your mom." And the child went back. I said, "Ma'am," she was so thankful. Removed the mask off the child, backed up, took a picture, and then the child hustled up and got back in line. I don't understand why. I get it, okay? Sometimes the child is shy. Sometimes the child is just disrespectful. If I'm making a request and this is me now, this is me and my children. If I make a request of my children, the options that my children have are yes, and I've done it already, Daddy. Those are the options. Yes, or I've done that already, Daddy. But there ain't no, I don't even have the words to articulate to let you know that I understand that other foolishness that y'all be having going on in y'all house. There's a book by Dr. Lisa Delpit called Other People's Children, where Dr. Delpit explains the level of cultural competency that you need to have in communication when you're teaching children from different socioeconomic backgrounds and different experiences. Okay? Sometimes children of different races and ethnicities. I know people want to say race is a man-made thing. It doesn't matter if it's a man-made thing. The colors black, white, pink, yellow, and orange are man-made things too. But if we don't have those particular descriptors, then we can't categorize things in order to understand how we need to make certain changes based upon our behavior. So you need descriptors so that you can understand if the behavior changes per the description or a thing. Let's move forward. Dr. Delpit speaks about the discipline in a classroom where, these are her examples in her book, where a white teacher was teaching in a certain environment, and she spoke to the students. She said, "Lisa, will you please sit down?" And when she said, "Lisa, will you please sit down?" Lisa sits down. No problem. Then they had the same scenario where they said, "Leroy, will you please sit down?" Now, Leroy doesn't come from a house or a culture or a background where people speak to him in questions. People speak to little Leroy in commands. People tell little Leroy, "Sit your behind down." When the teacher asks Leroy, "Leroy, will you sit down?" Leroy actually believes that it's a question. So Leroy says, "No, I'm not going to sit down." Teacher then writes up little Leroy, sends a note to the principal's office. Little Leroy is now suspended because they say he's insubordinate, not understanding that there's a difference in language and communication that has created this problem. Now you've manifested a situation where people start believing that little Leroy doesn't listen, not understanding, but the way you communicated to him was different. So what happens is, when you make requests, I'm not saying that you shouldn't ask your children. You get to a certain age, you ask your children questions because you want them to make quality decisions. And then there's certain times when you make commands early. Don't put the fork in the socket. Put that down. Don't touch that, it's hot. Remove yourself from over there. Don't go over Maurice's house. I don't like you playing by Maurice them. You give commands. And then when they get older, like my son, I say, "Rufus, would you like to do your homework tonight? Or you want to do your homework in the morning?" He said, "Dad, I want to do my homework tonight because I don't like waking up early in the morning." And you allow him to make quality decisions for his life. But in the beginning, what happens is, and I'm talking to the parents now who find themselves in these request conundrums where you start asking your child for a thing and your child declines because you have not stapled down in the mind of your child that this request is really not a request. When I leave my job and come to your school and I have my camera out to take a picture, you show your face, you stop, you take the picture, and then you keep moving. You don't cover your face after I've taken off 2 hours of work, because if you take the 2 hours of work, if you ask yourself how much you get paid for those 2 hours, and you came off or your job in order to take that picture with that child, and that child covers up their face, now you done wasted sometimes anywhere between $40 to $60 all the way up to $2,000, depending on what you do for a living and how you get compensated. The message in the beginning was for the children because I wanted to speak to the children so you could play this message for the children. On the secondary side, but really it's primary, the message is to the parents. When you are making that request of your child, you got to understand that at the end of the day, you are the parent, you are responsible, and you are in charge. So whatever behaviors you see or that manifest themselves when you make a request, as my daddy would say, "Son, that's your fault, and you need to fix it." Have a super fantastic day, and remember, I love you, but God loves you best. Take this information and please apply it. The book that I talked about is Lisa Delpit. It's Lisa Delpit's book. It's called Other People's Children. I think it's Cultural Conflict or Cultural Competency in the Classroom, something like that. There's another book by Thomas Cockman that's called Black and White Styles and Conflict, which is also an amazing book. Take care. And as I said before, have a super fantastic day.